If you try to overwhelm them with too much knowledge in this early stage, you're going to fire hose them. It's going to cause resistance, and they're very likely to back up. Aware. This is a stage prevents a lot of businesses and business professionals from having the sales conversation. In our sales process, the ultimate goal is to have a sales conversation, to talk to them about what it takes to become our customer. The awareness stage assesses that very thing. What is it going to take for me to have that sales conversation? You cannot have a sales conversation with a consumer until they are aware. So what do I mean by aware? There are a couple different levels of awareness. Very first, they have to be aware of their need. If they're not aware of their need, then they're not going to be purchasing anything. They need to understand, what is that thing that you solve? What is the pressing thing that they want to, why are they going to purchase something? You're not going to walk into a hardware store unless you need tools, unless you need building supplies. If you have someone trying to sell you a hammer, a saw, or some other kind of tool, and you don't need to build anything right now, you don't have a need for the thing they're selling. So there's no point in talking about the solution. So understand what their need is and make sure they understand their need. It isn't about you putting things into their brains for them. Your whole goal in this stage is to empower them to see for themselves, to recognize their need, step one. Step two is to recognize what is the solution that they need for that need. Step three is to recognize who you are. Why are you the person they want to purchase from? And lastly, that awareness is helping them understand their need and your solution, and why is that a match? Why is that the solution for them? There's lots of hammers in the world. Why is your hammer the one they want to purchase in this moment? Now, for some personality types, some people, the reason why is going to be completely an emotional decision because you're the one they talk to and you're the one they trust. Some people, it's going to be a completely logical one. This has all the specs that I want and need. So you need to understand, again, what is that awareness level? Have you been curious enough to understand what is their decision points when it comes to what they're looking for? Awareness is cultivated through the curiosity of stage one. So we talked about stage one before. If you haven't seen that, go back and watch it. You're establishing trust. So trust has multiple elements. You want to make sure in this stage that you're establishing yourself as the trustworthy expert for the need that they need solved. What you do not want to do in this stage is pitch them. And what I mean by that is you do not want to assume that they are, and I will say this word a lot, do not assume that they are ready to purchase, that they know what they want, that you are the solution. If you pitch too early, what that tells them is you do not see what their needs are and that they have and who they are as a person. What it says to them is they are just another number and you're after the money in their wallet. Another thing you want to make sure you don't do is fire hose them. You're just empowering them with information, making sure with curiosity that they understand their need, that they understand what your solution is, that you two have a resonance as individuals, and that there's the right fit there. If you try to overwhelm them with too much knowledge in this early stage, you're going to fire hose them. It's going to cause resistance, and they're very likely to back up. Think about any conversation you've had with somebody. If you are interested in the conversation, if you are excited about what's being spoken about, you're going to lean in. But when you start to get defensive or unsure, confused, you're going to lean back. You're going to put some distance between you and them. And you can sense this both in the physical space, like I just did, but you can also recognize this in the energetic space. Sometimes this is demonstrated by them going silent or lack of response. If you push in too hard on somebody, they're going to push back. So you want to be very conscious of this dance in the early stage. This is that early stage you're trying to feel out, what does this dance look like between us? So be personable and get to know them personally, because your ability to have a conversation with them that isn't just, are you ready to buy? Here's the thing you need to do, will help guide further conversations, especially when we get onto the ready stage. Because you'll notice this is the ready stage. If there's a stall, which oftentimes there is, having a personal relationship with that person will allow you to stay in contact and support them in that need. That's established in this stage. In the curious and aware stage, you're establishing that relationship. If you don't have it, when you get farther along in the stages and there's a stall, it's going to get weird. All right. The next stage is really exciting. It's the interested stage. We're going to talk about how to get to that sales conversation that you're so eager to get to.